Hello, everybody. This is Joe Bullis, your MELS 601 coach. I am doing this recording since we were not able to meet as a class. I do apologize for that. I appreciate you understanding. It was a situation where I didn't have an option or could reschedule. So I thought it best to just do a recording to share with you the information that I was going to share in our class. So as we are approaching the midpoint of the semester, we're looking towards finishing up the APSL and moving that document into TaskStream to be evaluated and then finishing up the semester. So this evening, I was going to talk to you about APSL Task 5. Now, APSL Task 5 is a narrative that you will create based on your activities as you engaged the program this semester. So in that narrative, you're going to talk about the experiences that you had, the opportunities you had, the activities that you engaged in doing the APSL, task 1, 2, 3, 4, but also those experiences and opportunities that you had in your internship, in your clinical experience. So when you write that narrative for task 5, what you want to do is you want to include both of those. You want to include what you did in the APSL, but also what you've done in terms of internship and clinical experience. And what you're doing is you're reflecting on the competencies of leadership. Now, there are 21 competencies, as we discussed before, in leadership, and you, for the purpose of MELS 601, are to address 12 of those competencies. 8 are laid out for you, and then 4 that you can choose to address. And that information is located in your handbooks, your clinical coach handbook, your scale handbook. I know Dr. Church has it in his syllabus. So that information is there as to which 8 that you are required to reflect on, and then you can choose 4 more, so 12 total. And that's going to be how you organize this document. You're going to make each of those competencies that you reflect upon a subheading. So communication, dialogue and inquiry, however that flows, that's going to be a subheading. And under that subheading, you're going to write a reflection on that competency in relation to the APSL, in relation to your clinical experiences in 601. So how long, that's up to you. Just adequately cover that. I definitely going to be more than 1 or 2 sentences. You can even make a 1 paragraph that encompasses the APSL information and your clinical experiences, or you can make it 2 paragraphs under that subheading, 1 dealing with the APSL, 1 dealing with your clinical experiences. But the most important thing is that you reflect as a leader on those experiences. How have you changed as a leader? What were some of the great opportunities that you had? How has that affected you? What experience have you gained? What's some challenges you had? What's some areas you hope to improve upon? What's some areas you feel really good about in relationship to that competency? So under communication, how did the APSL help you engage as a leader in your competencies in relationship to communication, communicating with your principal, communicating with your PLC team? What other opportunities did you have in some of the internship hours that you gained in communication? So when you reflect, talk about yourself as a leader, talk about how you have grown and engaging, as I said, those activities in the APSL, but also those activities, the opportunities you had in getting the internship. And that's task 5. There's no need to do a peer review on this. You just talk about those 12 competencies, 8 of which are predetermined and 4 you choose. So you just talk about those, put those in a subheading, write those in the professional documentation. Once you get to APSL Task 5, then you submit it for review. So now I'm going to move over and share my screen, my Blackboard. So now that you finished APSL Task 5, what do you do next? Well, you follow the same process you followed this semester, and that is you upload it into my Blackboard shell, my clinical internship shell, for review. Now, and this is kind of why I brought this up, because it happens every semester. And if you did this, it's no problem. You certainly aren't the first person to do it, and you certainly won't be the last person to do it. But as you're doing review and evaluation, as you're going through this process in the clinical internship shell, make sure that you upload your task here first. This is where we do the revision, absolute task for review. So we revise your document, we get it cleaned up, we polish it up, we refine it, we get it ready for grading. So this is where all the the kind of the sanding and painting occur on your task, and we can get it ready to present. So here in the evaluation Dropbox, absolute evaluation Dropbox is where you present it, and it's graded. So the first step of the process is putting it into task for review, for revision, feedback. And that when I feel like it's in good shape, and we agree that you've got a really good document, you're ready for grading, it's ready to receive that 100, and it's at that 100 level, then I will tell you to put it in the evaluation Dropbox. Now, what happens if somebody accidentally puts it in the evaluation Dropbox first without putting it into task for review, just by accident, and that's okay. But I need to kind of explain that process to you. And when that happens, what do we do? Well, it's actually going to be more work on your part than it is mine. But what I will do is once that happens, if somebody accidentally puts their task in the evaluation Dropbox first, it's once you do that, it's locked up. I have to give it a grade. We can't delete it. We can't remove it. We can't hide it. It will continue to sit there until it's graded. So I give it a grade of 0. And don't worry about that. That's okay. I'm sure Dr. Church may have talked to you about some of the things that he does in his course along these same lines. But what I do by giving it a 0 is I open that up so that we can later on submit it again. So if you accidentally upload a task into the evaluation Dropbox, you will get a 0. Once you realize what you've done, take that same task, put it into task for review, and then we'll go ahead and finish that process and start where we should have started to begin with. We'll do review, feedback, you revise it, we get it ready, and then when I feel like it's ready to move in the evaluation Dropbox box, I will ask you to resubmit. Once you resubmit, task, in this case, it would be task 5. Once you submit that task back, I will revise that grade back to 100. So it does not adversely affect you at all. So like I said, if you accidentally do that, no problem. Just shoot me an email and let me know that you did it. Or if I notice it before you do, I'll let you know. Probably in the comment section, I'll say something like, you need to go back and put this in task for review. Once you put it into task for review and we get it ready, you come back here and resubmit. But I do have to give you that initial grade of 0. Once you resubmit the revised version, then that grade will change to 100. Another thing I wanted to touch base with on during this recording and when I was going to meet with you was that it's best to just upload one task at a time. I know sometimes you're writing, you get going really well, you may have tasks 1 and 2 ready, and so you upload them both at the same time. I'm going to ask you to just upload one at a time. Just hold on to the other one. If you got task 1 and task 2 ready, just upload task 1. Wait till you get feedback and make revisions on task 1 before you upload task 2. Now, the reason I say this is because of some feedback that I give you, you may actually make revisions in task 1 that will have an impact on what you do in task 2. So once you revise task 1 and you get it ready, you may say, oh, because I wrote this, because I made these changes, that's going to cause me to have to go into task 2 and make those changes. It's a whole lot easier if you just hold on to task 2 and make those changes then than if you put it into task review. If you upload several tasks at one time, I will not give you feedback until you have finished the prior task. So once again, if you upload task 1 and task 2, I'm not going to give you feedback on task 2 until we have finished task 1. That way, any changes you make will be made for the other task, and will be loaded up in review at that time, and I won't have to be giving you feedback on the task that's going to change anyway. If you have any questions on that, don't understand that process, please let me know. But it's always better to upload each task one at a time, upload task one. You know, I'm a sequential step 1, step 2, step 3 kind of guy. It's better to upload task 1, get feedback, make revisions, then upload task 2. If you've made any changes in task 1, may cause you to have to make changes in task 2, and it's just a cleaner process. So once again, if you have any questions on that, let me know. All right, so you finished task 5. You got a grade of 100. You put it into Absol Task for Review. I've given you feedback. You made revisions if needed. And I tell you in the comment section, this is great, good to go, upload to the evaluation Dropbox. You upload task 5 to the evaluation Dropbox and you get 100. You will notice in the comment section, once you do that, I will say you are ready to create your final evidence narrative, the Absol final evidence narrative. So once you finish task 1, task 2, task 3, task 4, task 5, you got 100 on all of those. Now what? Now, as I said, you create the Absol final evidence narrative. And what that is you take all those individual tasks and you put them into one complete document. It's putting all the pieces of the Absol puzzle together. So you take task 1, task 2, task 3, task 4, task 5, and you make it into one document. That's one document with one title page, one school profile, task 1, task 2, task 3, task 4, task 5, a reference page, and an appendix. That's how that final evidence narrative is to be created and organized. It is one document where you've taken everything that you've done in the Absol and you put it all together. That is called the Absol final evidence. One title page, one school profile, all the tasks of that evidence, one reference page, and then one appendix. Once you do that, you don't need to put it back into task for review. If you'll notice when I click on Absol Task for Review, there's no final evidence for review here because we've already reviewed all of this. We've already looked at your title page. I've already looked at your school profile. I've looked at it and give you feedback on each of the tasks. I've looked at your references. I've looked at your appendix. So there's no sense to review them again. Once you do your Absol final evidence narrative, you upload it to the Absol evaluation Dropbox. If you open up the Absol evaluation Dropbox, then you see here, MELS 601 Absol final evidence narrative. This is where you upload the complete final version of your Absol. I will look over it one more time just to be sure that you uploaded the correct version. Sometimes people accidentally upload the wrong draft, just to make sure that you uploaded the correct version. And I will give you 100. And then you will see in the comment section, ready for task string. So you have finished with the Absol. You doesn't mean you don't have to work with it a little bit, but as far as creating that document, you are done and it is ready to be evaluated. It is ready to go to the evaluators who evaluate it as part of the requirements for your licensure. So when I say ready for task string, you take that Absol final evidence and you upload it to TaskStream. So I am going to move over at this point in time and share TaskStream. All right, so you got your Absol final evidence narrative. I've given you feedback on it, gave you 100. I say ready for TaskStream. Then what do? Well, you go into TaskStream, you go into your direct response folio. Remember, there's two areas in TaskStream that you work in. The DRF and your competency folio. The DRF is the direct response folio, and that in the competency folio is where you do your artifacts. We'll get into that in just a moment. But you go, once again, mine's going to look a little bit different than you because I got professor rights on my task string, but yours will look more along those lines right here. So you go to, just make sure, hold on just a second, I'm going to make sure I'm sharing the right thing. Okay, good. All right. Once again, you take that Absol final evidence narrative and you upload it here. You click on here and you upload it here into this section of your DRF, the direct response folio. You do not request comments, and this is just a review of what I've gone over before, what Dr. Lamb did in his town hall meeting with all new students in TaskStream orientation. You do not request comments here. This is for evaluation only. This does not go to me. This goes to an anonymous evaluator who is evaluating for licensure. This is where you will receive that 3 or 4. If for some reason you don't receive a score of 3, you receive a score of 2 or 2.9, 2.5, whatever, which is rare, but it can happen. You will get a message from your evaluator that you need to revise. If that happens, you contact me and I will work with you to get it revised, make the corrections needed, and then we'll upload it again for evaluation for a 3 or a 4. But like I said, that happens very rarely. But if it does, it's not a problem. We will fix it and make the adjustments and changes that need to be made, and we'll push it right back up there to get an evaluation. So you upload your APSL final evidence narrative here, and then you wait for it to be evaluated. Now, that could take anywhere from 24 to 48 hours, depending on the semester. We're midway in the semester. The closer we get to the end of the semester, the evaluators get a little busier, so it may take a little bit longer. But the evaluators, like I said, are anonymous, so it's not like we can contact them and say, hey, hurry up. They will get to it when they can. But usually it's going to take 24 to 48 hours. If it takes more than 48 hours, let me know, and I'll reach out to Dr. Lamb and see if we can find out what the issue is. But I don't really foresee that being a problem, and it never has been in the past. So, okay, so you uploaded your final evidence narrative, and now you're waiting on it to be evaluated. Well, now that's a good time for you to work on these 2 areas, your School of Ed dispositions and your competency analysis. Your competency analysis is basically just asking you, okay, once again, I want to make sure that I'm sharing the right thing. Okay, great. Is asking you to basically do a self-assessment on the 21 competencies. Now, you may not have really engaged in all 21 competencies this first semester. That's why the program is 5 semesters long. Takes you as you progress through the program, you will eventually engage and work with each of the 21 competencies of leadership, but you may not be there right now. So you kind of give yourself an assessment on where you think you're at. This is a growth, a formative assessment that you do based on your opinion of where you're at in these 21 areas of leadership. So you look at the competencies: change management, creative thinking, results orientation, and environmental awareness, global perspective, so on and so forth. You look at all the evidences below that and you say, where am I at? Have I met that yet or not? And it's okay if you haven't. It's the beginning of the semester. You may not have done anything with change management or results orientation or environmental awareness yet. And it's okay to put not met. Like I said, there's not a grade on this. You just get checked off for completing it or not completing it. This is for you to do some self-reflection on this. There may be a comment section. I can't remember if this version doesn't have one, but the newer version may. If it does have a comment section, where you get all this from is task 5, where you did your reflections. That's what you concentrate on. You look back at the reflections that you did for the APSL and you say, okay, did I, based on what I wrote, based on how I reflected on leadership competencies, did I meet that or not? Like I said, it's okay if you didn't. You're only reflecting on 21 competencies. 12 competencies. You're only reflecting on 12 competencies, not all 21. So some of these may be not met, and that's okay if it is. But you complete that. And if there's a section here for you to make a comment, you can just copy and paste over from task 5 in here. You can also use that task 5, copy and paste in the next one. And I'll talk to you about that a little bit here in just a second. But you go through all 21 competencies, clicking met or not met. If you have opportunity to make comments and you want to do that, that's fine. It's not mandatory. Comments are not mandatory. They are optional. Then once you complete all that, you submit it and you are good to go. All right, so let's go back to the DRF. Okay, so you have uploaded the final evidence narrative. You're waiting on it to be evaluated. You did your competency analysis self-assessment. Now you do the school of ed dispositions self-assessment. That's the dispositions of leadership. That's going to look a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit different than anything you've seen in the past. These are some different areas, but one thing I want to be sure you understand about these dispositions of leadership as an administrator. If you read this learner development and you kind of look at the descriptions below, then you're going to think, well, this is basically the same thing that a teacher can answer. And yeah, I certainly could, but I want you to look at it through the lens of an administrator, not the lens of a teacher. As an aspiring administrator, take on that perspective as you answer this. And the same thing, you may be unsatisfactory, and that's okay. You may think that you need an improvement. Once again, this is a self-assessment. It's a growth model. That's okay if you think you need improvement, or if you think you meet expectations, or if you think you exceed expectations, but from the perspective as an administrator, not from the perspective as a teacher. This section has comments, and certainly if you have some comments that you made in the APSL Task 5 reflection that are applicable here, then you can certainly put them here. Once again, this is not mandatory, it is optional. But you go through learner development, differences, content knowledge, so on and so forth, from the perspective as an administrator, and you just kind of indicate where you think you are on this spectrum. It's okay if you click unsatisfactory. It's okay if you exceeds expectation, but where are you at now in the program? As you progress through the program and you do this over, you'll do this in your competency analysis again, not next semester, but later on. You will click on more. You will move up in the scale, because like I said, this is measuring what the progress that you feel that you've made as you go through the program. You do not get a grade for this. It's either get checked off that you completed it or you didn't complete it. All right, so if you have any questions on how to upload your final evidence narrative into the DRF, how to do the competency analysis, or how to do the school ed dispositions, just reach out to me via email. All right, so you uploaded your final evidence narrative, you completed your competency analysis, and you completed your school ed disposition. And once again, as far as the competency analysis and the school ed dispositions, the competency analysis, as soon as you finish task 5, you can do this at any time. You can actually do the school ed disposition now that we're midway through the semester, towards the end of the semester. You can do that. I would wait a little bit later. The main priority now is completing the APSL and getting it loaded up in the DRF for evaluation. That's your main priority. Plus, as you go towards the end of the program, your answers may change versus where you're at in the middle of the program and the end of the program. But okay, once you've completed all these, then what do? Now you tackle the competency folio. And how do you get to the competency folio? You click on folio and web pages, and how you get your competency folio. Now you may or may not have already created your competency folio. If you didn't, remember there's a 2-minute video in the video library on how to do that. If you have problems with that, let me know. Also, if you have any problems whatsoever as far as technical issues in TaskStream, then you can contact Wendy Turbyfield. She is our main user for TaskStream. She can help you with any technical issues, login issues, not seeing what you think you should be seeing, can't access something. You want to contact her at Garner Web. So now let's go back to the competency folio. You click on competency folio, and this is where you use the artifacts. All of that stuff I've been talking to you about collecting, saving, putting in your appendix, your screenshots of communication between you and the principal, video of you conducting the PLC meeting, your agenda for the PLC meetings, minutes from the meetings, all of those artifacts that you have collected for that evidence, in this case, the APSL. This is where you upload them. You put them in here because this, as I told you before, you told us what you did basically in your APSL narrative, And here is to show what you did. Remember the analogy I used of being a whittler? I can tell you I'm a great whittler. I can tell you I'm a great painter, but until you see a painting I've done or until you see something that I've whittled, you really don't know how good I am. This is a folio that you create that is yours to keep, that can be used in interview sessions from now on. So you make it your own. But what you will do is you will go through each of these 21 competencies and you will see which one is applicable, in this case for this semester, the APSL. So how do you do that? You click on that particular competency, you look up here in the title and say, okay, yeah, there is an expectation from the university that I would have an artifact from the APSL that would be applicable to this leadership competency. You go to the next competency and you look in this area, okay, change management, okay, conflict management, right, creative thinking, customer focus. Well, I do not have to upload an artifact from the APSL for customer focus because the university is saying that opportunity, a good opportunity to show that leadership competencies will come when I do work on the OMA and the SCIP, the OMA and the SCIP. So you do not have to upload from the APSL here. And so you will go through each of these competencies looking for the correlation if there is an availability or opportunity for you to pick something from the APSL that goes to this particular competency. So you go through all of these, and these are the only ones that you need to upload artifacts for. You're not required to upload artifacts on anything else. So click on each of these, looking in the title, seeing, okay, does the Gardner-Webb expect me to have an artifact from my engagement with the APSL that I can use here to show this leadership competency. And you just upload it, whether it's an attachment, video, a link, or whatever. The only thing that I ask is whatever you upload, whatever you present, is that you title it appropriately. However you save it, however you upload it, make sure the APSL is in there. That way, as you progress through the program, you just upload artifact, artifact, artifact. I have no way of knowing, and the reviewer has no way of knowing what artifact you are showing as your presentation for which evidence. So if you go to upload 3 or 4 artifacts here, unless they're labeled, I won't know which is which necessarily. So just make sure that you appropriately label it. That way I can tell, okay, this artifact is for the APSL. Oh, okay, this artifact is meant by the student to be considered for the SIOP. Okay, this artifact is meant as an open-ended artifact. So make sure you appropriately label it. Once you upload this, we'll talk about requests and comments, but I will go in and review it. And if I can't tell which artifact is from what evidence, then I'm going to ask you to relabel that. So just make sure you do it on the front end, save yourself some work. Now, each leadership competency, there is only 3 evidence required for each leadership competency. And where do those artifacts come from? It's told here. In the case of communication, 1 should be from the APSL, 1 should be from the SIOP, and 1 is open-ended. Well, what's open-ended? Open-ended is kind of like a wild card. It can be anything that you want, anything that you feel is a good representation of your competency in leadership in the area of communication. It can come from anything that you've done in your internship, in your clinical experiences. So you can do an open-ended anytime in the program. You can upload an open-ended. You don't have to wait till you get to the SIOP or wait to the end of the semester to upload one for open-ended. You can upload that anytime that you choose to, but just make sure you label it as open-ended, so I will know that that's what that is to correlate with. Gardner-Webb only requires you to do 3 evidences. Can you do more? Sure. You can upload as many evidences or artifacts as you want, because at the end of the day, this is your portfolio that you're going to take with you after you graduate from the program and use it to show your leadership competency. So if you feel like you need more leadership artifacts, or you want to include those to kind of enrich your competency folio, and you certainly can. The university only requires 3. one from the APSL, one in the case of communication, one from the APSL, one from the PSYOP, and one open-ended. But you upload as many as you want. And you will do that for all 21 competencies by the end of the program. And once again, as far as the APSL goes, just click on these individual competencies and see if Gardner-Webb, if there is an expectation from the university that you upload something from the APSL. If you have any questions on that, let me know. Now, after the 21 competencies, you'll see digital learnership competencies. That is just for your information. You do not need to do anything with that. You do not need to upload or embed anything in that, because that's already done within the contents of the evidences themselves. They are embedded in the evidences. This is just a checklist to let you know what those are, but you're accomplishing that by default, just by what the rubric is asking you to do from the scale handbook. Now, one final thing is once you take all the artifacts from the APSL and you find out where they are correlated and where you need to put them in to each competency, and you've done that, if you have any open-ended sitting out there from your internship and you want to upload that, you do that. Then you go down to internship log and you upload this semester's internship log. By the end of the program, you will have uploaded one for MELS 601, 602, 603, 604, and 605. And this is where I give you feedback on your artifacts, and this is where I give you feedback on your internship log. So I will look over the artifacts and I will let you know if I feel like this is a good artifact that shows that you're a competent leader in communication or change management or conflict management. Once I do that, I will give you feedback on your internship log. You can upload it there, and I will let you know this looks good. You got enough hours. You did appropriately labeled it. You appropriately gave descriptions on it, so you're in good shape. And as you upload artifacts, as I said, you're only required to label them. If you want to include a couple of sentences, a text box with a couple of sentences that explains the artifact a little bit, that's fine. If I see an artifact and it's like a picture of you in front of people and I really don't get a grasp of what you're presenting or what you need for this to count for, I may, in my feedback, I may say, include a couple of sentences here. Tell me what's going on, just so there's a clear understanding as to what this artifact is supposed to represent. So if you want to, you don't have to write a narrative, you don't have to write a paragraph, you don't even have to write a sentence. But if you feel like it needs a little bit of explanation, then you certainly can include that. The focus here on the people looking at this is going to be more on the artifact than on what you've written, because like I said, this is where you show people what you've done. This is where you tell them what you've done. You did that in the APSL narrative. All right, so you got everything. You got all your artifacts loaded up for the ones that are applicable from the APSL. You've uploaded your internship log. Now what? Now you request comments from me. Once you click request comments, these will come up. Now do not, and Dr. Lamb talked about this too in his presentation, do not click this. You have not and will not have uploaded artifacts in every area. So don't click on this. If you click on this, then I have to manually go into each competency and look for artifacts, which it takes up a lot of time, and it takes time away from you, and it takes time away from other candidates. So do not click this. Never click this area. I wish they take it off. Never click this. Only click those areas that you have uploaded artifacts for. That's the ones I'm going to focus on, because once you do that, it sends me an email and it says, you must reply, you must give feedback on these areas. So I only want to look at the ones where there's artifact. If I open up open up a competency area and there's no artifact there, then that's just wasted everybody's time. So once again, make sure that you only click on the ones that you have uploaded artifacts to. So once you do that, you click continue, you look for my name, you check my name, and then you click continue again. Once you do that, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to get an email from myself. Once you do that, I will get notification that you requested comments and for me to go into your Competency Folio and give you feedback on all the artifacts that you've uploaded and your internship log. So if you have any questions on that and you need some more clarification, just reach out to me, email me, and I'll be happy to answer those questions. So that's basically the whole process, from finishing up your task, creating the absolute final evidence narrative, getting it graded, putting it in the task stream, doing your competency analysis, doing your school of ed disposition, and then updating your competency folio and getting it ready for feedback. And this is a live doc. This is a living document, I should say. This is a living document. You will be adding to this every semester. It will be you'll be working on it every semester, but at the end of every semester or towards the end of every semester, once you finish your evidence, I will give you feedback on it. So we will polish it as we go along through 601, 602, 603, 4, and 5. All right, so if you have any questions on anything I've gone over, please reach out to me. I appreciate your understanding and not being able to have class. It was certainly unavoidable, and I do not do that, but it was something that I was asked to do, something that I needed to do. Once again, I appreciate your understanding. Reach out if you have any questions. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope and pray you and your family stay safe and healthy. Thank you.